All right, welcome back, everyone. This is RWINK7, and I am joined with DJ Oracle. And this is the ManeCity Radio Podcast, the 11th edition. And thank you very much for joining me, DJ Oracle. How's it going?
Hey, R-Wing, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? This is DJ Oracle, and everything's going good. Enjoying the new main city since we last had our podcast. There's a lot of new exciting things in main city.
Yes, yeah, a lot of developments, and we're finally into season three. Last time we were speculating, talking a bit about, what we thought was coming. And I don't think we were as prepared as we could have been, that's for sure. But yeah, lots of interesting developments.
Yeah, definitely a lot of things to talk about. So thank you guys for waiting, and again, like the video like always, and I hope you like this one as well.
Right on. So now we've got out of the pleasantries here, and everybody hopefully is doing well. I think, yeah, let's just hop into it and start discussing some of the finer points of what we've got here. So, as you can see on the screen, we've got the four topics we're going to sort of discuss, all sort of interlinked, obviously, with season three, but, some of the more recent updates and whatnot. So, the first topic we're going to discuss will be the regions and the world map. Then we also want to discuss the increase on all in-game assets. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the great market collapse. It's not that great, but it's a little bit of a drop that we've noticed, at least personally. And then the last little topic at the end here, we will get into some of the newer partnerships. And as you can see in the background here, we've got a lot of the partnerships all displayed on the newest loading screen. So I think maybe to start off here, let's get into the regions and the world map. And DJ Oracle, do you want to hit us maybe with which region you like the most and talk a little bit about what you think of in regards to the world map and the most recent update?
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, it's nice to have finally see our fate, fracture fate lands that we had, and just in the wallet. It was nice to seeing them being used and what they would look like. I think one of the favorite ones, it's for me, it's the Lucen accent. Even though I don't have any, because it's a primordial. Even though I don't have the land, the actual arid, they're pretty nice looking. It's kind of like a tan color, and with like a gold in the cracks of the land. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
pretty exciting about the NFTs being used, and I think the graphics were pretty good. How are you liking them?
Honestly, I love it. I find these lands very attractive. Like they've done a really good job with the design team that's brought them out. I think, luckily enough, I was able to, and a little bit maybe heavily invested or over invested, some may say, but I do have most of the, or I do have all the Fractured Fate lands to be able to go and see what they look like. And I definitely think that the artwork on them is really well done. I like it, as well as the details that they've put into it when it comes to even the arids and stuff like that. All the different colors and the smoke and stuff like that to like try and differentiate them. I think it's really well done. But yeah, I guess in
Yeah.
regards to favorite
Okay.
region, I do like
Uh-huh.
the Lucent Ascent as well. Like you were saying, I find it a pretty cool land. It reminds me of like what you might like stereotypically think of like the gates of heaven looking like. It's the lion gates of heaven, or at least the traditional sort of like golden and white lands and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
but but I do really like the other primordial land. It looks pretty cool too.
Yeah, another one I like too. It's the one from the Nexius, Block Nexius, the one that has like the little spheres
Yes,
floating.
that one's pretty cool. I do like that one as well. It's different, right? With the little orbs sort of floating around, and the background music's kind of cool in that region.
Yeah, I love the background music. It's the best. That's what I love the most. Little more because I think they did a great job with the graphics and the sounds. Even the overall map, the world map has like a little sound after you like you're idle there for a little bit.
Yeah, I should try to see if I can switch over. Maybe we can get some of the sounds and stuff like that while we're also discussing it. Maybe I could show some of the lands. That way we can sort of see what's going on as well. But see if
Mhm.
I can switch over to screen recording here. There we go. So we are in the block nexus. Let me just flip on sound. Good. I don't have any defenses or attacks underway right now. Let's flip over to the world map, and we can get some of the ambiance from the background music here.
Mhm.
Now,
And
one
so, uh-huh.
I was gonna say the one thing I don't know if you've ever played Mass Effect, but when you were inside the spaceship, that's what sort of this music reminds me of.
Oh, like if you're inside of a spaceship.
Yeah, in Mass Effect, you're able to like travel from different planets and whatnot, and then you could land on the planets and go and explore it. An amazing RPG if you've never played the trilogy, but that's sort of what this background music reminds me of. Um,
Oh, nice.
I think for me though, personally, my favorite land is in the Aurora Wilds, and it is the legendary one. I really like that Thawed Altar.
Uh-huh.
It's a pretty cool looking land. Just bring it up here because it's got that like look like a bird head or whatever in the background.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yeah, it's the I think it's the legendary Thought Altar. It's a pretty cool looking land.
Okay, yeah, the first one I have is the Avalon Lake.
Okay, yes,
And uh
I like that one
it's a nice
too.
looking one too. Hmm.
It's kind of like a it reminds me of like a spooky forest or something like that.
Yeah, like a mystified forest. Like a
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I mean, yeah, like you said, I think the all of it. Oh, I better go back and turn the sound off on the game here. Mute myself. I don't know, we'll be listening to the pitter patter of snow in the background from that land. But I think, yeah, overall, they did a really good job with the world map. One thing I do find kind of cool is the overall, like the map, the way it looks. Maybe I could just bring it up on the screen here so we can look at it when we're discussing. But the actual map, right? So when you are in the world map to look at it, I think the whole design of the world looks pretty cool. Though I did think the Sapphire Sanctum would be a little bit more sort of built into the Molten Forge area. It's more of like just one large landmass. But I think overall it looks pretty cool.
yeah, me too. It looks pretty good. And I was looking at that too, like how those there's the molten, the crimson, and the aurora that are kind of connected, and the other ones are a little bit more like islands. But yeah, the graphics are really nice. Um, the way they glow, I think they always, as far as the colors, they always come out with like a good combination of colors for their businesses, for their lands. I'm always really pleased with the graphics from the team.
Yeah, and I guess that, and I don't think it was something we really discussed quite yet, but I saw it in the Discord. And when you brought up the regions being, these colors and stuff for businesses, did you catch that they were talking about elemental businesses for each region? Did you see any of that?
Oh, I think I did see, and it said, yeah, I saw a tweet not too long ago that it said, something about elemental combos.
Yeah, and I know it was
I
part of
think,
the update that they were pushing. When was that? Was that 2 days ago when they did the wheel so that you could access the regions quicker?
yeah, I think that was yesterday.
Yeah, it might have been yesterday morning. But regardless, it I know that they had mentioned it, and that's going to be something that I'm interested to really get some more information on because it's like, where and how is it going to be like a business skin, right? Are we applying a new business skin if they're in a specific region to be more like a like a a volcanic diner or something like that, or is it going to be all brand new businesses?
Yeah, it kind of sounded like it's gonna be brand new businesses. Um, but yeah, it said I think they are gonna be brand new businesses. But this is the fact that they said what's the word that they used?
Like the elemental ones?
The elemental. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the tools. You know how the tools have like elementals also, kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. That's what I'm sort of curious, right? Are they going to match the elements that each of the regions have to tools and then also bring out some sort of businesses in regards to that element, right? Because I would assume,
Yeah.
Ember is probably Molten Forge, right? The Azure, right? The blue looking stuff is definitely, your Sapphire Sanctum. What's the other? Because there's one that is kind of confusing, and I always forget the difference between it. Because there's like Ember, and then there's the other red one that definitely matches up with like the Dunes, the Crimson Reaches, and then Petabyte. I mean, yeah, that's the blockchain. That's a pretty apparent one.
Yeah, yeah, because it says yeah, it says the original system sets the stage for the introduction of elemental businesses coming soon to bring new layers of depth tied to each region's traits. So yeah, tied to the region's traits.
Yeah, so
Um,
I'm
huh?
excited for it. The only thing I'm not excited about is having no, like, literally no, like blueprints at this point, and barely any more that are going to come from leveling up. So hopefully they're either, and I guess this rolls into our next topic, right? The increase on all in-game assets. Hopefully there's some blueprints coming our way as being, older players that have already passed, a lot of these blue point checkpoints, basically.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, with the new upgrade with the new regions, you need to have at least one business in every region. So that means that you need to have at least 7 blueprints to start earning income. So what the team decided to do is that they give out 7 blueprints for every level up now instead of one, and that of course helps you to start getting your game set up.
Yeah.
Um, and I can see it at the competition. There could be an issue at the competition, but now the supply and demand aspect of it, and for the ones that, like you said, we already at past level 100. Oh, that's a big miss out on blueprints.
Yeah, I remember calculating it, right? Because, they, even when they did the change to every 10 levels gets a legendary blueprint, we missed
Hmm.
out on that because we were getting it every 20, right? Until we hit level 100, then it was every 10. But now that they're giving out 7, I guess we're done basically talking about regions in the world map, I think. So I'll check that box there, and we'll continue talking about the in-game assets being inflated by 7x, right? And I think it was 630, right? That is about the amount of our blueprints we missed out on, and then 65 blueprints now by the time you hit, or sorry, legendary blueprints versus the uncommon. So 630 uncommon blueprints and 65 legendary blueprints by the time you get to level 100 as a new player versus what we were able to get. That's the difference. And it's an insane amount of businesses when you think about it.
Yeah, and the blueprints is the possibilities that are also tied up with those blueprints, right? Like that could have been my apex right there, one of those blueprints.
And it's not even the apex, it's also the quality, right? We got stuck with all quality one businesses because quality wasn't a thing. Now people can
Oh
open
yeah,
up blueprints, right? Like my mom had recently opened up a couple uncommon blueprints and pulled a bank, right? That was quality one, but whatever. Still, that could have been a quality four bank.
yeah,
So stuff that we missed out on that, I hope that the devs have some sort of compensation, if we could say, coming our way. And it leads into our fourth or our third topic here, the great market collapse. But with the increase in all these assets, businesses included, it is definitely encouraging merging, which I think is a good thing. We want to see businesses get burnt in these merging, but also not feel like we as players get burnt when we do try and attempt merging. But yeah, we've also got a ton more diamonds. So it's an interesting dynamic being 7x for everything.
Yeah, and also again, we always say it how they listen to the community. So any feedback that you guys have, always go to the Discord and put it on the feedback. Because we had a lot more diamonds, but then the rewards from both the daily roar and the cubs still remained like very low. So instead of the 100 k of diamonds that we would usually need for the spin of the daily roar, after we get the three free spins, the price used to be 100, and the lowest price was like 10k. And then the price with the new update, the price went up to 700, and they kept the prices again at 10k, the lowest. And after feedback from the community, they're actually like, okay, I guess that made sense to them, and now the prices match the cost.
Mm-hmm.
So any feedback, guys, always go to the plaza and the feedback channel right there, the Discord.
Yeah, and I'm curious too, right? I wonder if they had like on their back end, uh, you know, data to support that change as well. Because I know myself, I stopped rolling. Right, there was no point in rolling for 700k when really I'm gonna probably get 10k and 50k, and it's just like that just didn't make sense. But now that they've upped the prizes that come from it, I do gamble on it again, right? Because the worst case at this point now is you get diamonds, right? Especially because everybody's chasing gold now, gold and attacks and defenses and boosters. Like those are the jackpots now, right? Nobody cares about the
Yeah.
diamonds.
For real.
Which is
Yeah,
so
especially
weird.
because
It's so weird to say nobody cares about the diamonds anymore, because it's like last season it was all about diamonds, right? Diamonds are king in this game. That's why you want lands. But now it's like, oh, there's so many diamonds, I can't spend them all.
yeah, especially when you're like stuck in a strategy. I've been accumulating some of my diamonds. But yeah, which is good, like you said. It helps out with the merges. Also, it encouraged for merges. It just hurt like the uncommons. Okay, you burn them. I think maybe after like a certain quality level, maybe they should be, or maybe instead of them getting completely burned, they should be decreased by a quality. If you have like a quality two quality threes that you're trying to make a quality four, and you get an unsuccessful, maybe one of those should increase the quality, but you can still keep it. Because like once you're trying to make a quality six and burning two quality fives, that's painful.
Yeah, that was.
I
And
mean,
I think I
yeah,
put that in the game feedback as like a suggestion on how to change it, because, like you said, like if you have your main business at quality five and then you go and try to merge another quality five to bring it to quality six, and you fail and you lose that quality five business, it hurts a lot. Like that's a lot of businesses. But if it just dropped down to quality four, you can't instantly try again unless you have the quality four to attempt another merge, right? But then you could even get caught in the decrease loop, right? It's like, oh, we gotta try to get my quality four up to quality five to try again, and then it fails,
yeah, there
and
you
then you
go.
lose. Now it's down to quality three, so it could still be, it'd be frustrating still for sure. But I think it would be a good uh, implementation, right? Because it still incentivizes people to gamble on it. Because right now I don't really do mergers past like quality three or quality four, just because I'm just like I don't want to risk that business, right? You could put that business on the
Yeah.
market and make way more money than the money that you're going to get by increasing your quality. But it's yeah,
Mhm.
it would be nice. I am envious of your quality 8 Pride record. That thing's beautiful.
Uh, I know a lot of times I'm like when I'm in that land, I was like when I'm looking for gold, I'm like, what am I doing? Like put this guy to work. It makes almost the same as a
Yeah.
museum, I think.
Oh, I could see it. Yeah, it probably does because you're at like what prestige 180s right now.
Yeah, 180.
Oh, okay, right at 180.
179, we're moving up to 180, yeah.
Nice, nice, getting there. Yeah, so you're still. It
Yeah.
probably is. I know my quality 6. I mean, I could check right now. My quality 6 is actually what I use mostly. It's an LL Sport, but it's what I primarily use as my income generator. I've got it on my
Uh-huh.
block Nexus land. That way I can, use it to continue to level. But it is a little weaker than a Museo, but it does a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, the quality do help, especially here, right? Because you can get a lot more gold for the click than if you don't have the quality. Um, the
Yeah,
guy's crazy how the thing got flipped on or waiting for gold instead of diamonds.
no, I know it's kind of funny. It's the big flip, right? Being exactly like you said. Now it's the gold, and the gold seems so sluggish to accumulate that it's just
Mhm.
like a snail's pace, right? And now we're just, which I'm okay with, to be honest. In some context, it is nice to be able to prestige fast, but this is also now incentivizing people to run a lot of different businesses, right? Like I'm actually trying to get 2 of everything now, just because why not? Maybe not 2 legendaries. It might not be an arcade and an Apex, but definitely, I've got 3 museos now and 2 motor, or not 2 motors yet, but I've got 2 Cyber Bazaars, 2 Pride Records, and 2 Leo or LL Sports. Plus,
A
I
current
need to start
prestige?
work. What's that?
A current prestige?
Yep. Yeah, I've
Oh,
been
I'm
pulling
sorry.
them
And
all.
then, uh-huh.
I bought a couple off of the market that were already in the hundreds, P100 and P135 and stuff like that. So it wasn't significant amount of diamonds to get them up to my current prestige, but still a bit.
Yeah, having 2 of each is a very good. It's a very good tool to have to have in your toolbox. And then you're working on something else you were gonna say?
Well, yeah. I mean, working on those combos, which I think is something we can talk about in regards to the in-game assets, right, as well. Um, which I think is helping strengthen the market a bit. I do see a lot of people listing P10s, right, trying to sell off so that people can make these combos, the business combos, and I think they're pretty
Hmm.
cool. Though, originally, and I remember talking about it in the Discord in the game feedback. I had originally said that it would make sense if they provided more diamond increases, right? Because you need those extra diamonds to be able to run these, different businesses rather than just being a cool cat farm. And I still think the diamond increase is nice, but it'd almost be nice too if there was a bonus, if they were all at prestige to increase your gold as well.
Mm, that's a good point. That's a great point. Because I do have like an arcade. I have the 3 diners that I have up to 180, and then I have another 3 that are only up to 310. But if I were to get gold, it would incentivize me to bring it up to my current level.
Yeah, I think so. Especially like, I mean, really, the pairing of a diner with a cool cat. Like, it's not going to, like, you're not running unless you really are not a very variety or don't have a large variety of businesses to your city. You should not be depending on a cool cat diner combo for gold. But when you pair it up with something like a Pride Records, it's I have a couple lands right now basically running with a Pride Record and a Museo as the income generator to keep them above my one land that I use primarily to generate income. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you could pair it up and like, hey, this cool cat is going to get an income boost, and then it, almost like increases the income on your Pride record. Maybe that would be incentivizing people to, instead of just having a bunch of, P10s attached to it, or even just a P10 records with all their cool cats surrounding it. It might incentivize them to bring that up and actually start to use it as part of their income asset plan.
Yeah, actually a really cool idea. And because I even have an Apex tower that I have up to 179, and and I have a bank next to it that was like a P36 for a long time, and I just put it there because it was above 10, so I can do the combo. But then yesterday I was like, you know what? Watch it like little by little. I can just like bring it up to current prestige level. So I started building it up a little bit more. Um, yeah, after you were telling me about how like you're bringing up um, businesses to current level, prestige level, it gave me the encouragement to do the same with my bank.
Nice. Well, I mean, you definitely should have the diamonds now, right? Like even me, like I have 2.19 billion diamonds right now that I could spend. So I've got another museo. It'll be my fourth museo. I did try to sell it, but it didn't seem like there was anybody looking to purchase it at P100. So I'm working on bringing it up to my current prestige level as well now. And then next will be another motors. That way I can sort of set it up so I've got two motors and two museos attached to each other to get the combos.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, definitely got to redo
Oh,
my combo video and show what once I get everything situated what I got. Because yeah, I'm
so you said you have a combo with two motors and two museums, so that's four of them for businesses.
yes, yeah, I don't have the museo or sorry
Oh,
the motors yet. I was actually bidding
okay.
on a Q4 today, but I have a Q3. I might just put it on my land and use it instead.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's the good thing about having lands without the obstacles that you can increase your combos. Huh?
yeah, yeah, I guess so. Right? I always forget that. It's
Yeah.
like because I mean, I never had mythicals until the this fractured fates lands came out, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was able to obviously secure myself one of each mythical just primarily because I was interested in being able to show them on YouTube, as well as seeing what type of strategies I could build around them. Honestly, though, I don't think it's worth owning them unless you really want that minus 2% reduction. Just because, I mean, that's why I work on my block Nexus land because it's the legendary. I don't have the blocked chain land from First Frontier. So I'm working on a legendary and it's got obstacles, right? So it having obstacles allows me to use Savannah Bandit, whereas otherwise I can't, right? And I don't get those extra bonuses for increasing my gold generation.
Mm,
Yeah, it's it's a whole new different strategy now, right, for me because before
right.
I was always on a molten cavern, right? So I always had a couple obstacles. I was always able to, use Savannah Bandit, and now that we only generate off of our lowest generation gold land, I'm stuck basically playing on the block Nexus if I want to take advantage of Savannah Bandit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm on mythicals and primordials across the board. So um, yeah. What can you do though? I guess sell
You
some.
gotta adjust the strategies. That's the only thing we can do, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I've sort of tried to tackle it, and being able to have, I guess, a decent knowledge of how they work. Right, so it has been a good asset, and being able to plan how I place my city and my businesses, and I have a good understanding of which ones were typically income generating ones. So I was able to spread them across the 7 regions fairly well. But, you know, still a little bit more refining here and there to go until I'm 100% happy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, because just when I think I have like something set, um, one of my lands wasn't doing a lot of income, so I switched one of the Leo and Co's from the current, the 170, the P179, and I
Hmm.
replaced it with just like a P10 that I had to get off the market because I didn't have another one. But yeah, I still found myself tweaking the strategy a little bit.
Yeah, there's
I finally
always.
got all my businesses to P10, so all my combos are now P10. So that little project's out of the way. So there's always something to do here. And
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if we were to be given a bunch of blueprints, I'm sure I could fill up my seconds and third lands, with different combos and stuff like that. Because then it might even incentivize people to have like 2, 3, 4 lands full of, whatever they can put on them for combos. Whether it's, a bunch of cool cats and diners, or maybe a pride record with cool cats, or a Leo and Co. Tagged onto an LL Sport, whatever, right? So I personally, I get it. The increase in the in-game assets is, causing the issue that we're seeing right now in our next topic, that being the market dip. But, with I think the merging, and as newer players sort of get a better understanding of how to play the game, and, maybe not just selling all of their blueprints and stuff like that, and the crappy businesses that they think are crappy,
Mhm.
maybe they'll start to merge and we'll just see a lot better, higher quality businesses for sale. What else do we got in
Yeah.
increased game assets? I mean, businesses is the big one, right? Diamonds are, you know, I've seen, I guess, like what was I at? 8.5 million prior to Fractured Fate lands. So I'm at about 5 times. So not quite 7, but five times the amount of diamonds that I had in season 2. So, and then that can be expanded pretty well. Get that up usually to about 50 million per hour if I can get some solid attacks.
Oh, wow. That's a good number. 50. Ooh.
Yeah, sometimes. I usually sit around about 41, 42 ish, somewhere in that range. But then if I can, if I get like 4 or 5, 20% aerial bombardment hits, right, and that adds like an extra 15%, it can get up to 50, 52 million. Not too difficult to do, but yeah, I mean, maybe that's something we should have talked about too, is the drop down, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we could
Yeah,
save
they
that
were
for,
talking about.
or we could talk about it now if you'd be interested.
Sure. Yeah, because they were bringing it up in the plaza. Like, we're bringing it up as, players on top. Like, yeah, this is what you should do. And the next thing you know, I see the people in the plaza. Hey, those people on top, what are they doing?
Yeah, bunch of wimps. They just drop down and they hit us and run away. It's like, well, I mean, they've
Yeah.
definitely leaned in. I think the developer has leaned into that aspect of the game significantly
Hmm.
with the regions. Personally myself, like I keep my Sapphire Sanctum as 3 businesses, right? It's a bank or 2 banks and an apex. And it'll be 4 if I get another apex, so I can combo the banks with the 2 different apexes. But other than that, like I clear that land, drop down to 0, and then I'll put on like a level 1 cool cat or something like that. And I have a few different ones to just work in between the people that are at like 100. Meta actually reached out to me on my last video. I talked about the drop down technique and a little bit of the controversy that was around it as people discussed it in the plaza, like he said. And he was like, hey, I just try to hit people that are under 100 gold, or in that range, because, I mean, if you play, you should be over 100 gold pretty quick. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't take long to get over 100 gold generation. So those people are definitely the people that played it for like 5 seconds and said nope, not happening, and are
Yeah.
completely abandoned. Right. um,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I feel less guilty about hitting them than I do, a P person at P10, or even P 150 or something like that. At a 158 I would drop down and and hit some people in that range just to, well, accumulate those bonuses, right? That's the big thing. We need that now that gold is so dried up.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, I do the same thing. I keep my mine. I use the Aurora Wilds, and I have a main motors with two museums next to it for the bonus on my first land, and on the second line I have another main motors with two more museums next to it for the at P10. All three of those on the second land. So that's what I do. I just remove these six businesses, let it go to zero, and I always hit the guy that's below me because it's like a lion, whatever, whatever. Doesn't even have a name. Doesn't even have um a picture. And
Okay.
yeah, so I hit that one first, and then 40 minutes after, I can't do the same thing. So I go to my second land and I put like a diner, so I could be like in between six income. And I think I even always land around the same guy, which his name is Nate or something. So I hit Nate, and like you said, because they're not playing, usually, yeah, I don't even go past like 20 income because I got used to like just putting the same businesses. First,
Yeah.
no businesses. Then the second time, a diner. And then the third time, two diners and a gym. And I keep going up
Well,
like
one
that.
thing I've noticed, and I think you guys being void are a little bit more lucky because when I drop down to between, because I think the lowest guy is 5 gold that I can see, that's
Mhm.
void, and then it goes up to like 130 or something like that. And out of that grouping, there's probably like 50 people. It seemed like there was only like 6 or 7 of them were void. So I'm like, I'm having, and I know, and I got to tell myself, it's like these aren't actual Legion players. They're not playing, right? Like, but I still, I hate clicking that. Are you sure you want to attack your own team? They're part of your faction. I do it for the guy
Right?
that's 0, right? Like there's one guy above me, he's no faction, and then there's one guy
Uh,
below me when I remove everything and I'm at 0 gold. He's a Legion player or was or whatever, right? And I'm like, well, he's still there. He's still not got any gold, so after a while, it's just like I gotta hit him. I mean, I'm missing out on a free attack, right? So,
yeah.
um,
Yeah. And it's like they're not even logging in. Like it's not even in their mind. Probably Main City is one of the last things in their minds, maybe.
yeah, I'll feel bad though when he does come back, and it's like you've been attacked 570 times or something like that. It's just like all me. It's just like he looks, he's like, he's on my own team. It's like, no, I swear I was void at one point.
Ah. I didn't even think about all those messages being accumulated.
Oh
That's
yeah.
funny.
I wonder how many people like, if you logged in, I've logged in a few times where it's like, if you're in a battle and it's like, hey, you've got like 40 messages, and it's like, because you get the attack notice and then you also get an expiring notice, right? So
Yes. Yeah.
it's like double the amount. So if you attack a guy 100 times, he's getting 200 notifications.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, I guess when it comes to like drop down, I get it. It sucks as a newer player getting hit,
Mhm.
especially, we're well equipped when it comes to being able to hit people with attacks, right? Bigger players like Papa and Hayton and Meta, that have even more NFTs than we do, they can hit even harder, right? So when they're dropping down and if they were to hit somebody that's around in the P10s or P40s or whatever, right? It hurts and it sucks for sure. But I guess the thing is there's nothing stopping them from also doing the drop down technique, right? They can drop down, and it might take a little bit longer to overcome the negatives at the start that somebody might have already put on you, but you're also able to hit other players that are below you and accumulate, a bonus to be able to overcome. And also,
Mhm.
the attacks aren't applied to all 7, so chances are you are missing on one land, right? So, find the land that's not kingpinned, basically, right? And start working off of that land.
Yeah, that's another thing that that people are doing that I don't do is moving businesses around. And again, like you said, granted that I'm not being on the constant attack. Right now, I'm between two legions, but I hit him once, and then I hit the other one once again, and only one of them attacked back. And I said, all right, that's even, that's fair. The other one didn't attack back, so I don't continue. Like if I can find somebody down there, like we were saying, especially under the 100s, under the 50s that we know for sure they're not even playing. Um, yeah, I don't really do any of the attacks around there. Around me, like I try to keep it. Uh, not trying to poke any bears.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Next thing you know, you're going to be
but
getting hit by all the people above you. They're just going to be like, "Oh, DJ Oracle's not under attack." We shouldn't have said
yeah,
anything. Yeah, you're going to wake up
yeah. So
tomorrow
try
with
to
100 notifications.
I know, right? On the competition, it is like that, like you said.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Man, I just
Hmm.
so when you do the complete zeroing, right? What number are
Hmm.
you dropping down to?
So let's say right now I went down to 3241.
Okay, so I'm wondering if that's got to do with where you signed up, right? Because you started playing before I started, and I'm in the seven
Hmm.
thousands. I think I'm like 7,300 or something like that.
When
So
you drop down
yeah, when I drop down to zero, right?
to zero.
Yeah, so like if I take all of my businesses
Oh.
off and have zero income, and then you can drop
Uh-huh.
down, I land in between. It's yeah, right around the 7,300 mark. So I think that's like telling me
Um,
I was probably in between, 650, like 6,500 players and 7,400 players. Just because whoever's still playing that's an older player will be up the leaderboard. But where I drop down to zero should be telling you kind of relatively where your number is. And I wonder if it has to do with also your ID. Like if you check in the settings, right, you can see user ID, and mine's
yeah.
in the 700s or 7,000. Sorry.
I never thought about it. I was always wondering how, like, if we all at zero, like, how does the computer knows where in zero we are at?
Yeah, I think it has to
But
do
yeah.
with your user ID,
Mm.
and it puts you to the next closest user ID. So it's kind of cool because then you can see people, the names of the people that joined relatively at the same time you did, right? Because they would be in that grouping when you drop down to zero.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it says user ID 2281, 2281.
Yeah. So, and then you'd be dropping around into that area, the 2000s, the
Ah,
3000s. So cool. All right. Yeah.
nice.
Glad we could confirm that, sort of. Um,
Yeah, so guys, if you could drop down to zero, all the way down to zero, just leave the poor guys at, 50 below you. That's, I don't know. But
yeah.
again, like somebody was saying somebody was saying in the plaza too, it's like don't take it personal. It's just a game, and people are just, you know, like you said, you could do the same because we're not like it's not like cheating or anything, right? Like we all have the same options, the same like
Exactly.
hitting same faction. It kind of sucks to hit the same faction, but if somebody's hitting you, just hit them back or whatever. Don't take it personal. It's just a game.
That's the biggest thing, right? Like it's part of the game. The developers are encouraging us obviously to do these attacks. I mean, they give us 3 free attacks a day, right? They are obviously expecting us to use them at some point. But
Yeah.
it it does suck as a newer player. I can imagine, getting zeroed, right? Getting hit, smacked with 125, 130 kingpin, right? And then everything else is like, in a 260 malware, and it's just sort of like, cool. Now what am I supposed to do for 4 hours? All right, I guess at that point, right, you could put boosters on to try and overcome some of it, but yeah, it does slow you down a lot. And I mean, we're already at a snail's pace, but that's where if you don't want to be at a snail's pace, try, these attacks, drop down, hit people, attack as often as you can. I can do it about every half hour. So if you're able to do that every half hour, you're able to accumulate a pretty significant bonus.
Yeah, and once you get a little rhythm, it gets easier and easier to do the drop down routine. It just kind of becomes like a little routine.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, overall, I guess we'll see what they change. I think one of the biggest changes that they need to make is if you are still enduring the attack from somebody and you log in and it's like, hey, you've got like, even if it's 10 seconds left in the attack, or even if it just expired, I think that there should be at least 50% of retaliation, right? Even if there are 10,000 difference in the leaderboard, right? It's like they
Mhm.
should allow for a revenge hit at least at 50. I would even be fine with a 95 because guess what? That's what the person attacking you hit you with. So
Yeah.
and to counter that too, it would also encourage, if you're attacking actively, right, and you're not putting up defenses, it would encourage you to at least then put up defenses. Though, that being said, I guess maybe the counterpoint to that would be nothing's going to be more devastating than a new player getting nailed by a really well equipped player and then going thinking, oh, I'm going to get them back. Blocked, 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 blocked. Okay, well, what was the point of that? Like, you know what I mean? If you try all 5 attacks and they're all blocked, and it's like, well, I think that might even be more um, you know, disincentivizing for the newer players. So,
Yeah, I liked how you said it about they having a retaliation grace period. I think that would be definitely great. Definitely great. But yeah, they will probably have the defense up. But it would just encourage more gameplay overall for players. So, maybe you'll get to see the names and you're like, nah, I better, like, I'm not going to hit them back because I know they have their defense up. But maybe somebody would just hit and forget to put their defense up. So, hey, it's part of you messed up on not putting your defense up.
yeah.
But I like the retaliation grace period. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, even if it was like a 12-hour, right? Because at least then that would be hopefully, if they had their defenses up and it's like maybe they're asleep, maybe they forgot to put defenses up. I'm gonna try retaliating, right at the end of the retaliation period or whatever. So yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
just a little suggestion just to help newer players. But all right, now that we've went off on the drop down technique, which wasn't even part of the topics we wanted to discuss, I think we've covered a lot of the increases in in-game assets. The costs. There's now 7 sets of arids, so all of that type of stuff. I think we can move on to maybe discussing the market collapse.
Yeah. So yesterday, as we were talking right around this time, because we were talking about how we get now 7 new blueprints, but the price stayed kind of steady, like at 10K, 10K um, of vouchers for the blueprints. And yesterday, I don't know, somebody all of a sudden needed some money for the NFT mint or something, but they put a whole bunch of like, I don't know, I want to say maybe up to like 100 blueprints at a 1K voucher.
Yeah,
And so,
I did
yeah, and
calculate it.
everything went down.
There was so with the price that they had got, I think they only got 2K for it, right? But there was 168 blueprints that were put on the market.
Wow.
I don't know if it was all by the same person. I didn't bid on any of them. I don't know who got them, but that'd be kind of interesting to know if somebody ended up getting like 30 of them. Were they all from the same person? But yeah, that when I when I got on, started looking through the
Um,
market, I was like, holy man! And I just sit because I start on page 1 and I'll flip through just to see if anything's good for a bit, until I see where
uh-huh.
bids have been, and then I was just like flipping through and I was like 28 pages. Holy man, there's so many blueprints. Who is putting all these blueprints up?
Hmm.
But it definitely, like, what, we were 8 to 10K, pretty much any day of the week last week. And now it's down to 2, maybe 3K for a blueprint. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of disheartening. And I think there's more of that to come, right? Especially as newer players come in. And it's really not that hard to start a new account and get a, KYC'd account with crypto.com. I know also, I saw in the Discord there's one guy discussing the purchase price, right? So they did move it from, what was it, 50 or 500 million diamonds up to
Hmm.
2.5, I believe it was now. Or is it 1.5?
I think it's 2.5.
Yeah, so like 2.5 billion diamonds, right? That's quite a bit to purchase just to unlock the access to sell in the market. And
Hmm.
I'm kind of like, it makes sense because that definitely keeps any bots away, because now there's no way they should be able to make that amount of money back. Whereas before, I mean, if you got a quality, like with 7 blueprints and you play to level 100 and you get to, uh, you know, couple maybe apexes and a couple arcades and stuff like that, and you put those up, you're easily getting your money back out of that just from that with the diamond purchase requirements. So you could easily make these bot accounts and could have been profitable. So I'm glad to see that they are still trying to combat bots. I don't know whether those blueprints came out from a bot account or what, but yeah, I do worry a little bit about the market stability at this point, especially as we move forward with trying to onboard 100, or what was it, 1 million players. So we're at 1,400 at the best right now that are actually playing.
Yeah. And I thought it was gonna go that the market was gonna go down right away, right after people started getting uh, 7 blueprints, but it was pretty steady. And I was actually a little worried on the opposite side, to kind of play a little bit of the opposite side. I was thinking like, how are we gonna get all these new players and everything so expensive? Like, um, how are they gonna kind of like start, buying in? But I guess like the real market, the ManeCity market just gave opportunities to other new players or whoever was looking for a good opportunity. Because I didn't even like, there were so many that I didn't think they were gonna go back to like. So I put some bids because again, I like opening blueprints and merging. So I think about one at two, one at three, and then I like four at four. After four, I didn't want to keep bidding on it. Be the only one stuck with like buying them at five when I know the most likely the price was gonna keep going down. Right now I think they're steady like at a little bit under four. On the auction.
Yeah, I'm just looking
I
at it
did
right
buy
now.
another.
Four
Yeah,
four
I
point
did buy
five.
2 gold blueprints.
Oh, you got a couple golds, did you?
Yeah, I got 2 gold prints at 25. I think I got them 25 each.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, there's one
yeah,
right
even though
now
I'm
for
filing
27.
uh,
Not bad price, I
27.
suppose.
Yeah, yeah. So and all throughout the last 2 weeks, I was kind of like working the market a little bit because I was opening blueprints. So I would like you said, I would level up some of my cool cats to level 10 and sell them at P10 so that people can do those combos.
Ah,
Um,
hustling.
hustling a little bit, yeah.
Nice.
So when they went down, I was like, oh, I guess it is the market, right? It's literally part of like a market, like a regular market. Not everything goes up forever. Not everything stays down forever.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing, right? Is that it's never. I think we were at the peak, right? I don't know if we're ever gonna see 10K for a blueprint again. I think a happy spot for it is right where it kind of is at the moment, between 3 and 5. That makes sense because it is still like a chance to get an epic or a legendary or a rare out of these. Um, I mean, even getting an uncommon's not bad, but I think most people are kind of disappointed getting a gym or a diner. They'd like the cool cats, but at least until we get the skin, from one of the new partners that we can discuss soon. But I don't think the gym's going to be too desired until that happens.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, like, I even noticed too, right? Like, the museos, right? Museos used to never sell for under 50K, right? Like, maybe you'd see the odd one go for like 35, 40K if there was a couple listed, right? And it didn't get bid up, but usually it was around 50, 55K. Well, now they are down to like, 25K, and there's some listed at, 40, and nobody's even starting to bid on them, right? Everybody seems to be happy at like 25. So I've even noticed that the epics have dropped in price, and some of the motors that used to sell for like 50 back when the skin came out from the monks,
Hmm.
they're going at like 20 now.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because I mean that's what having a lot of all the people that bought those blueprints yesterday opening up their businesses, and now it's time to sell the business, right?
yeah, exactly. Hey, I mean, even if you bought 50 at 2K each, right? You spent 100K and you opened up an Apex. You put that up for 200K. You just doubled your vouchers there, but it's a big gamble. Um, but I also am like you. I enjoy opening the blueprints. The thrill of the opening is what keeps me coming back. And I open all of my blueprints. I don't sell any of them. Um, I do have a few, and I'm holding on to my blueprints right now just to find out what's going on with these elemental businesses. So I'm not opening any until we get information on how those are going to be accessed, because I don't want to purchase anything off the market just to have them. I would rather hope that
So,
maybe I can open them from blueprints. Other than that, or I. I guess the counter to that is hopefully it's something that we just place the business in that region and can access that business element or something. But yeah, speculation, right?
yeah, that's what we love, speculation.
So I don't think we've got really anything else really to discuss in regards to the market at the moment. I mean, I'm watching it still. I've seen, the legendaries have even come down in price. Saw a few arcades the other day, yesterday. Sorry, trade for about 100K, which is crazy to think. I still think we might see a little bit more correction, a little bit more drop as we get more players onboarded, especially if they keep the 7 blueprints per level and 7 legendary blueprints. That's insane. Um, so we'll see what happens, but yeah, definitely keeping an eye on the market. So
Yeah, that's the market. That's what it did. I'm glad it didn't stay all the way down to one. It didn't stay at one for. I really thought it was gonna stay at the one or twos. So yeah, I agree with you. I think blueprints at five. It's a nice.
it's a good spot for it, I think. But
It's a good spot.
again,
Yeah.
as markets do, the people participating in them are the ones that decide the prices, typically. So we will have to see where things end up coming out, as even when mobile comes out, right? That'll probably be the next massive influx. Well, actually, I guess once they introduce the exploration and combat and monsters and whatnot, that'll probably be a good influx of people coming in to check that component out. And then once it hits mobile, that'll be like the next big, like, boom, here's a bunch of people because it's accessible on your phone. And that's where a lot of
Hmm.
people, I think, will come in, and we'll see the market dip again.
Yes, that's a good point. Yep.
Right on. So we got the newest partnerships. Um, I maybe can give us a quick rundown of the ones that are on the Legion side to start, and then go over the Void ones. I know we've discussed one of the Void ones previously, and I believe we haven't discussed either of the new partnerships for Legion quite yet, at least not on the podcast. So the one that actually just minted, they've done a phase 1 mint previously. That was in February, I think. It was like start of February. So this is phase two. It's ongoing right now. So, check crypto.com if you're interested in trying to mint one of the Ishin Revengers. But it's the little rabbit guy just below me on the screen there. And they're a pretty cool little collection. They've got a Discord game and a bunch of other stuff going on there. And then the other Legion, which I don't really have any idea or any information regarding what collection or what is going on with it, but it's the Wolf Swap team. So they're a DEX for trading, and yeah, they've got I believe they've got a collection, but I don't know exactly too much about their project really. So, but they're the wolf that's right behind the lion there. So pretty cool project, or two pretty cool projects, right? One being a decentralized exchange, and the other being like a manga, and they are looking to make like a manga anime, and they've got a Discord game, which I believe is going to also form into another, like maybe a browser game, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, but pretty cool projects. I can give us a rundown too of the Void ones, if or did you maybe want to?
Yes. No, why don't you go ahead and do it since you have it right there, the
Right on.
graphics and everything.
Yeah, so Synthtopia, which is the one right beside DJ Oracle's picture on the graphic there. Their synthetics collection is the one that is confirmed. I know previously there was speculation from myself as to that being the collection. They have now since confirmed it is the collection that is coming. So if you don't have one, I mean, maybe look into picking it up. They are partnered with the Void, and I do believe there's something supposed to be with Interlude, which is like another metaverse world game that I believe they're partnered with too, and you can use the NFT possibly in that game as well. But yeah, primary focus for myself, ManeCity, and they will be part of the Void. And that project, now whether it is this collection or not, they still haven't confirmed that portion of it. But the synthetic or the Synthtopia project is getting a business skin. So that would be the first Void business skin, I believe, at least to my knowledge. And then right above DJ Oracle's image there, you can see the bull. That is from the Cows Gone Mad project team. Now, there isn't really too much details in regards to mint dates or any of that information, but it is going to be an NFT collection that is minted on crypto.com, as far as I know. And they also have a game that's coming out. They did show a little tech demo of it. What was that? Last Friday, we had a little call in their Discord, and they showed everybody that was part of that call within their community a demo of what the game is. Sort of like a tower defense kind of wave, fending off waves of coyotes and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. Looked pretty good to me. Still in the demo phase where they're still refining a lot of that stuff, but pretty promising that they have their own development outside of ManeCity, which is kind of cool. So definitely need to keep an eye on that project, especially when they do come to minting. So there are two projects, each one for each faction that hasn't been minted yet. Wolf Swap and of course the Cows Gone Mad. So that's sort of what we're looking at. Pretty balanced now, I think.
Yeah, and it makes for good expectations too for the projects. I know Syntopia, their NFTs, they're very colorful and very futuristic. So then having a skin and for one of the businesses is pretty exciting. Pretty exciting news. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I wonder what NFT project Wolf Swap is gonna have. Um, but it's just good to see ManeCity moving with new partnerships. That means that the whole project it's growing enough that both people want to invest in, right? The projects themselves and the projects the people that the projects are bringing with them because they already have their own following. So for us being here, our main project being Main City, it's pretty exciting to see the community coming in from the Chronos ecosystem and get introduced to the game itself.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some, and the cool thing I think about it is, it doesn't sound like any one project is a repeat of another one, right? They've all got their own little sort of outside of main city development going on, right? And you know, we'll have to see exactly if, because the way I almost think of main city being is like a promotion, right? It's like, hey, I'm marketing. It's like marketing material for your project, right? And I think with the way season three, personally, I think shaping up. I know a lot of people are upset with the whole regions and the way everything's been working so far. But I think once we get to the monsters and the exploration and the other components that are there, that I think will help fill time while we are waiting on our cities to generate gold. I think that these other activities are going to be very engaging, hopefully, for the community to play in. And with these communities that are surrounding these other projects coming into play main city as well, I think that's a really strengthening force when it comes to them being like forefront, right? They're the leaders coming into main city, and then everybody else after season three is going to be just somebody that's following it, right? Not necessarily that that means their project's not as warranted or as good, but it's definitely, these are the ones kicking off the fight against whatever dark force it is that we're fighting against, as well as each other, I suppose. It seems they're still leaning heavy into that void versus Legion, but yeah, I don't know. Exciting times ahead, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, they're still having the Legion because they still have um their graphics like that, and he's pledged to allegiance to the void, and they're pledged allegiance to the Legion. But yeah, the monsters are I think is gonna be exciting. So it is. I guess it's part of the good mechanics of having to wait for gold. That way we have something else to do while we wait for the gold, like you were saying. So again, I'm very excited for the monsters, also because we can see kind of like what we have as far as the NFTs. I think um, it's great to see for the NFT world itself to have NFTs that actually do have utility. Because a lot of people, when we talk about NFTs, it's always those overpriced JPEGs and
Yeah,
to see that there's amount of monsters in the NFT and different resource amount, and that's pretty exciting for the NFT world.
yeah, and I think that's what's sold me so much on these. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of NFTs to really get into playing main city. I mean, you don't need them to play per se, but it definitely increases the enjoyability when it comes to playing main city, to be able to hit people hard and be able to defend yourself, and never waiting on diamonds, just waiting on gold and stuff like that. The utility aspect, right? That you know like you said, it's no longer just an expensive picture. It's something that I can use in a game. And while whether people are enjoying it or not, I do find it engaging to be able to log in daily, and you know whether I'm feeling like I'm progressing fast or not, it's the progression over. I'm further than I was last week, right? So, and it's nice. I can see it. I still see it, right? I feel like I have been bottlenecked a bit for sure with the gold, but it comes down to figuring out a new strategy. How am I going to overcome this new challenge, right? So it's interesting because I never really thought of NFTs in that manner until I heard about the crypto.com land mint and all that jazz. So that's what got me into it, and well, yeah, haven't looked back since.
Yeah, same here. When they said Fresh Frontier and just lands and the beginning of many games, I think that the Fresh Frontier, they said that they might be able to use those in other games in the future, maybe. Um, But yeah, just the fact that they keep that this project hasn't died down. It actually keeps improving. More people are talking about it. It's pretty engaging. So it's really promising for the whole crypto.com. Like you were saying, when it comes on mobile systems, it'll be easier to even just advertise on TV commercials or YouTube commercials, because I think showing a game that you could play from your phone, it's a lot easier to get people to download than having to stay on the PC. I think games for PC are still for gamers. Like you have to kind of like be committed to the time. I'm
Mm-hmm.
putting this time aside to pull up my laptop or my tablet or my PC to engage in the game. So once it comes on the phone, it's gonna be a lot of more interesting, a lot more players. And one thing I tell new players too, and I say on my videos too, is it seems like a lot of NFTs, and yeah, you're right. Um, but we don't have the amount of NFTs because we bought them all at once. Like most of us, we buy one a little bit here, a little bit there. They're on sale. It's a good time to pick up. And
Yeah, it's
like
been a
I've
couple
talked to
years of
other people.
accumulation.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I talk to other people that play other mobile games, and they spend money just to like boost or whatever, but like no real price or no anything, and they're spending a good amount of money. And right here, if you buy an NFT for boosting, for some reason you don't want the game, you can always sell it back to the market. Um, yeah, so
Yeah,
that's another great thing about this.
yeah. Well, and I mean, I haven't really been the best at looking at some of the tools lately, but I know the last time I checked, like tents are at like what, $140 or something like that. Like
Yeah, I
I think
think
I
so.
bought, well, I minted one of them that I own, and the other one I bought for like $90. So like if anything, I've gained money and I've been able to use it this entire time, right? So that's the thing I
Mhm.
find that's the big draw for myself, right? It's like these assets help me out in the game, and it's not a temporary thing, right? It's not like buying a booster in ManeCity where it's like, oh, I'm spending money to get this, blah blah blah, right? No, like you're buying an NFT that boosts you, and when you're done using it, you can sell it, and maybe it cost you $2 or $3 if the market dropped, or if it really collapsed, you might have lost like $10, and the NFT is not worth that much now. But I haven't seen that yet. There was at one point, right? We did see a big collapse when it came to some of the mid-tier tools, going from like $15 down to like 6, right? But even still, then it's like you're still using it in game, and they're not, hopefully, knock on wood, not making any more of them. So once it does go to mobile, that's where it's like, hey, I don't technically need a jacket of every element, do I? So maybe I've got one that I can sell, right? Now they're worth $20, and I picked up one when it was $10, so I've doubled my money there, right? So yeah, we'll see what happens, but yeah, I think there's big things to come for season 3, especially when it, like you said, goes mobile.
Yeah, and it seems like it's been, I don't know, just because the game is just so fascinating. It feels like it's been out for a long time now with this new format, but it's barely been 3 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
So right?
Oh, I think it's the stress of trying to find those cubs, man. It's adding years to us.
I think so.
It's a
But it's
stressful task.
became
It's a task now.
yeah. The good thing about it is that it's became excuse me now. It's became now like a community get together to go to the plaza because most likely people are there looking for them and sharing where they're at.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed the plaza's pretty active, but we've got a reminders channel where you can like put into Discord on the Legion Discord. It'll remind you rate like, I think it's like 10 seconds or something before the Cubs start honking. So it'll pop up and be like, hey, they're about, you get a notification on Discord, and then we all chat in there as well to call them out. But if nobody's doing it there, I'll flip over to the plaza and be like, are you guys doing it here? Help me find these guys. They're too
Right?
elusive.
Yeah. Especially when you're by yourself. It's like, I found you. Why isn't the noise going away? Oh, it's because the new cub. It took me 2 minutes to find this guy.
Yeah. The worst I've found is they only give you like 40 seconds, maybe at the most, for the very last cub. He's the hardest to get.
Uh,
I've missed him so many times, but I'm usually good because like my mom's playing as well at the same time. We just sit beside each other and we're scrolling through. And now that we've got that new development where it's like, hey, you could just hover over, it'll bring up the whole map, right? Like or all the lands. I usually start at
yeah.
Stygian, and then she starts in Crimson, and we just meet in the middle if we can't find it.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good. That was a nice update too. To not have to keep going back to the world map every time.
No, I know that was like a solid. Well, for a while we didn't really have the greatest internet, so it was a couple seconds to like. Sometimes it just froze trying to load into another region. Right? It'd be like, oh well, shouldn't have went to block Nexus. Every time it was always block Nexus would like freeze, and we'd just be sitting there like, well, guess we're not finding them today. Oh, it was ridiculous, man. Having to just tether to my cell phone for internet for like a solid 3 weeks. It was brutal.
Oh, I bet. We appreciate the little things then, huh?
Oh man, you don't understand like how critical internet is until you have like next to no internet again. And it's just like you get so used to like everything being just fast. Like you click on something and it's done loading already before you even clicked it, it seems, right? And then you get to the point where it's like you're on like dial-up internet back back in the day, and it's just like everything's slow and nothing's loading, and you can't go anywhere because you have to be as close to the internet hub as possible. And it's just like, man, this is terrible. I hated it. But
Sounds like a whole adventure.
no, it was an adventure for sure. Um, I mean, other than that, I don't know if you want to listen to me gripe about internet, um, we could speculate a bit if you're interested. I know we're at about an hour 17 minutes right now. Maybe we could do 10 minutes of speculation as to, you know, if you've thought of any more about what type of monster fighting and stuff like that, exploration that's going to come out. I know we need to like try to keep our wild dreams a little bit tame, right? We can get carried away, but obviously, caveat here, guys, if anybody's listening this far in, it's all speculation and from just two passionate ManeCity players. We have no inside information at all as to what's going on with the game. So, yes, that's the little asterisk there. We're just here to talk about what we think is coming.
Yes, yes, little. Yeah, no insider trader info, none of that. Um, but yeah, I mean, geez, when they were talking about the world map, I really didn't think of how it was gonna be done. So seeing it how it is, I wonder if whenever there's monsters, you know how the cook not the cookout the cookout delivery event. There's like this little icon that flashes. I was thinking that maybe there'll be something like that on the region where the monsters are attacking, so we can go in there and attack. But I'm not
Okay.
sure if we need to equip the Dark Lion. I guess hopefully maybe now those weapons and those things will come into play now.
Yeah, like the weapons that are on the back of the Dark Lions. And there's a
Yeah,
few
and the
few
Dark
loaded
Lions.
lions that have them, right? There's the who was it, the Roman and the Spartan, I believe, have swords. There's the ninja, he's got a sword. I think there's a
I think all
few
the Cubs have one, right? The
Cubs.
Cubs have one.
Cubs have all sorts of stuff. Like they've got brooms, they've got laser beam weapons, they've got hoes and shovels and rakes, and it's just like all over the place. Baseball bats. It's pretty funny. Um, but yeah, they've
Maybe they're finally coming to play. No, finally.
well, that's what I'm wondering, right? I would love it if I'm hoping that the route that they're going is if they're going to try and separate it so that it's somewhat mobile accessible, as well as like keeping people that are on the PC on the PC playing, and for the heavier gamers, I really do hope that there's like two types of ways to tackle missions and stuff like that. One would be to like form a team, right? So you could like, if you don't have an NFT, you basically would just like send your no name avatar out there to explore or something like that, and bring back something, and that would be exclusive for like mobile. It'd be like sort of like sending out like a expedition sort of exploratory thing, and you could be like, hey, let's here's the weekly region where we need to go, or here's the daily region where we can go, right? And there's different bonuses, different resources, things to find, and it's very passive, sort of like set it. I'm gonna come back in 4 hours and see what I found, right? And then that way it sort of like keeps people able to access it via the phone. It's not like super heavy graphics intense where the you need a top end phone to be able to play this. It'll keep it so that it's just sort of like a city manager with the ability to send out expeditions. But then it would be really cool if those expeditions that people are sending out resources on the PC, we could champion them, right? And we would be the ones that are actually helping decide whether they're going to be successful or not, right? So then it would almost be like, once they have like a million players on mobile, and probably 10,000 players playing on PC, right? The people on the PC would have the support of the mobile players as they go in and actually do the mission, right? And then it would be a lot more engaging for us because we would be out there actually like, whether it's a point and click sort of thing, being able to like, hey, there's the monster, click on it, and your guy starts attacking, and then you could switch from like a light attack or a heavy attack, or like just straight up like a first person shooter where like actual keyboard and mouse playing for it. So it could go into that direction, but I don't know how heavy they're really getting into the action. But I do hope that there's going to be some sort of like real time, us out there exploring, walking around, just collecting resources, maybe not fighting monsters, trying to hide from the monsters. I don't know. They're too strong for us to attack on our own. We got to come back later or something.
Yeah, go get reinforcements.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Call in the heavy guns.
yeah,
Get Papa Bigfoot
uh,
and Hayden and Meta in here.
right? Yeah, we need the slingshot.
Yeah, exactly. So stuff like that. Well, and I hope that we get to see what it's like coming up in the maybe end of July, start of August. But yeah, who knows when it's going to actually be released. I know they said in the most recent update they're laying the ground for all that type of stuff. So hopefully in the background, yeah, they're putting in a lot of the necessities, all the assets, the worlds for us to actually go out and explore, the wildlands, whatever you want to call them. Hopefully that's all being loaded into the game as we speak, with each update, right?
Yeah, hopefully. And I hadn't thought about what you said when you mentioned like an interplay between the mobile users and the desktop users. I think that's a great idea because even for us, it make us be on both, right? Like I don't have to necessarily be on my desktop to do certain things, and I can't really do them from my desktop. I have to do it from mobile, so it'll encourage players to jump back and forth um,
That's what I
between
hope.
both devices.
I hope there's still
Yeah,
some incentive for people to come play on the PC, right? Otherwise, I mean, unless it's 100% just been about us testing the infrastructure and they just needed a computer to really dig in and find any bugs, and then everything's going to be compatible on the phone. Who knows? Maybe they're streamlining it better than we know, and that's the real plan, is to get everything 100% on the phone, and that way you never have to go on your computer again. But I don't know. I think that would irk some people. I think there's some, like, that are actually excited about a little bit more of a real time action aspect to the game, opposed to just building a city and then coming back 10 hours later to build the city a bit more. Right?
yeah. No, I think you're right. I think a lot of players are excited to do a little more clicking. And yeah, like a first person shooter would be super, super intense. And uh, I think it would be real, real fun. Um, and yeah, like you said, using the mouse and the keyboard. Hopefully, they will do something like that. Um, where, and I've seen it in other games where you can actually like go to like a common area where other people you can see like other people's names and joining in on the gameplay. So hopefully it'll be something like that where we can be like, oh, like we you and I are both in the same map and we can, play in the same guild, for the same mission kind of thing. That'll be super cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool if they did have some sort of like Nexus Citadel or something like that, where we all go and are able to go and interact with NPCs that give us specific like bounties. Hey, go kill 40 golems and 10 of these like I don't know, snail things that you see in some of the NFTs or whatever, right? Give you like bounties
Yeah.
on things and like, hey, go collect these types of resources. And then it would be almost like an MMORPG where we're like, hey, okay, I need to go to this specific region and walk around and find this and that and fight some of these monsters and collect this resource and then the overall eventually go back to the Citadel and we can meet up and be like, doesn't matter which faction you're part of because the factions could almost be like a secret. It's our own thing, right? Where we're part of a faction that we help fight each other or the opposite faction, but then we could also join guilds that are like cross faction, right? So you could be like the explorers guilds or the monster hunter guilds or whatever, right? And you could join
Mhm.
those, and that's the key aspect of the guild is whatever they want it to be, right? It doesn't matter if you're Legion or faction as a faction or Void as a faction because it's a cross faction guild. But yeah, who knows? We'll have to
Mhm.
see. But yeah, it'd be cool to have a central area we could all meet up and then be like, hey, you ready to go do this? Let's do this. It's kind of like I forget what they called it. It might have been even the Citadel or something like that in Destiny. There was something they had like the tower. Was it the tower? Go to
Mhm.
the tower, and you would meet up
Good.
with people, and you could form raid parties and stuff like that. So that would be
Yay,
cool to be
yay.
able to do.
I'm all about a party.
Yeah, exactly. Get the party going, and let's hey, I mean, whether it's via X Spaces, something like that, or in Discord, right? Get a little voice chat going, and all of us play. That'd be hell of a lot of fun, I think. So,
Yeah, I would make definitely X Spaces a lot more interactive. Everybody will be jumping in there, whether it's Gary's or Mr. Loco or Sunshine or whoever's hosting it. If everybody's in the game doing missions, oh man, it's gonna be so much fun.
oh man, I've heard that like you were saying in the City Plaza, it sounds like they're also on X Spaces. They'll be doing it too, right? Hunting that cub down. So, uh, I mean, just to add another layer of like, all right, we're doing actual battles and strategizing about how we're going to tackle this boss and things like that. And, if they had like raid mechanics where it's like, not the most intuitive, or you need to communicate and be like, hey, you need to stand on this and change it to this symbol, and I'm over here and I got to like fire blast something or whatever to be able to get this new door open. And who knows? It could be all sorts of puzzles and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
be kind of limited once the community figures it out. We know what to do, but still, there's still that excitement of like when it's new, people being like, "How do we do it? What do we do?"
Yeah, like a new level, unlocking a new level and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just harken back to like the days when I was playing Destiny 1 and 2, right? And that
Hmm.
was like the biggest MMORPG I really played. So it's the only thing I could think of. I know a lot of people have more experience, like WoW and stuff like that, right? But for myself, it was always like as soon as the new DLC and the raid came out, and then the raid was usually like they'd release it on like a Tuesday, and then the raid would start on like Thursday, so it gave people enough time to like gear up and get ready. and then it would like
Uh-huh.
open, and everybody would just be like, it's basically like a race to see who's the first to claim that, hey, I was the first to finish it. We're the best raid team, right? So,
Yeah.
and then they'd be making videos and teaching everybody else how to do it, and yeah, just fun times, right? When the community comes together to solve problems, solve the puzzles, and figure out what the developers have developed for us.
Yeah, definitely finding little tricks, little um yeah, just any little thing that we could share. We're like, yes, we're the first one. We could share it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Whether we are the first one or not.
Yeah, yeah, right.
uh,
Like we said, if nobody posted, it never happened.
well, hey, I had to. I looked. I was like, did anybody do this yet? I don't know. So I will claim R.WINK, Lord of the Lands, first of his name,
Yes, yes.
even though
First,
everybody else already
official.
had it.
Hey, but that's like submitting a patent. You can't submit it after it's already been patented.
No, exactly. So hey, even though they have better timestamps than I do, I was the first one to catch it on video.
Yes,
So yeah, all
that
fun and
was good.
games.
And that's for the 100 arids. Is that what it was for?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Um, I know most of the people already had diamonds saved up to purchase them all. I had been saving diamonds, but I was also prestiging and doing stuff. So it was just sort of like, instead of bringing up more big businesses, I was just saving the excess diamonds I had, as because of the gold crunch that we're experiencing. So then I was just sort of like, all right, I got extra diamonds, buy these arids, and then sort of just saved up, and yeah, whether it's worth it
I
or
haven't
not, I
gotten
don't
it
know.
yet. I think it is. I mean, besides just the bragging rights from it, the diamonds that you get from the extra arits that you buy, and I think there's increases in percentages for accomplishments, right? For achievements, you probably
Yep.
have a little boost on their achievements.
Yeah, so that was the big thing that sort of sold me on it. Um, Being able to get that achievement is 2,000 points by itself, and that will 100% carry over to competition. And the 2,000 point level, I believe, is a 2% bonus, right, for everything. So that's a
Mhm.
guaranteed 2% in competition, just because I have all those arids unlocked.
Okay, yeah, I'm at. Let me see. I gotta catch up. I'm at 1,900 out of 2,000 points. So I need
Okay, so you
what, like
just
a
need,
hundred?
yeah,
No, 10, huh?
you just need five more, right? If it's 1,900,
One
and
thousand 900, and it's 20 points. I land
yes, yeah. So you just need five more.
five more. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right. I'm not so
I don't know how
far
many did
behind.
you have in Crimson Reaches?
Let's see. I have, let's see, the next one here would be uh 2.46 billion diamonds and 160 vouchers. I think I bought
Oh man, so
two with vouchers.
you won't even have to spend vouchers on any of the other regions. You won't even make it to there, right? Like, because it's I had 17 unlocked in Crimson Reaches, and then I was able
Uh-huh.
to unlock the achievement by getting to 15 in each of the other regions, right? So you're
Oh, okay.
already, I think, at like 20. Then it would be in like the Crimson Reaches, or 19 or something like that. So you've already got the two above and beyond. So you'll get what would be four of the six regions to 15, and then the other two regions will be at 14, which might as well get them up to 15 as well, just to even them out. But like you said, the extra diamonds are also nice. So, but yeah, you're pretty close, really.
Nice. I think I'll probably finish it tonight. And I'm at the point where I can finally afford some more purple palms. Well, not for the first, some more furniture for a long time. So I'm placing those. I'm having fun with the purple palms.
Oh, yeah, have fun. They are.
Did you fill out every room with those?
I did one full room and then half of the fit. So I did the common room and then half the fitness room. Um,
Oh,
and
okay.
and it was just like, by the time I got halfway, like I got an okay computer, but like nothing like a gaming computer. So by the time I got to the halfway point of the room, even when I was doing the common room, it just lagged so much. It was like a
Mm.
solid 3 seconds. It was like click, drag, it like slowly, and then it would let me like click to like drop it, and I'm just like, this is taking way too long to place these. So, and I got to the point where it's like barely giving me XP, so I was just like, no, I'm done.
Forget it.
Yeah, forget this. This is way too much work for what it's worth.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, I mean, yes, I could fill up every room, but eventually, I don't know, it might just be too much of a tedious task. But another thing we should have, speaking of, we should be able to have a place. You know how we have the clear furniture? We should be able to have a place of furniture so
Yeah,
that when they open the new rooms, we don't have to replace everything. We could just automatically place everything we have and keep going for where we left off.
yeah. Place all of this piece of furniture. That'd be nice, and it just does it
Yeah,
across all of them.
so,
Speaking of
yeah.
other rooms, what do you think's coming?
I like what you said. The weapons rooms. I think it's a great idea. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see, but since we are on speculating, let me look at because I was placing those little pawns right now. So there's another big room on top of the common area. Um, they have to have like a main cave. No, that's the arc. That's the game room probably. I was gonna say like a man cave. A studio or maybe a recording studio would be good,
That'd be interesting, yeah.
right?
I'm just wondering if they were holding off on it specifically because they were going to be more oriented around what's going on with like season 3, right? So I'm wondering if like the hangar, right? Because a lot of the stuff in the first set of rooms available are very like city and personal focused, right? And like, because like the hangar, it's all stuff that like you could drive around your city with, right? It's not like a helicopter or a tank or anything like that, like heavy artillery things that you could go and fight monsters and stuff with. um, and then like the fitness center and your lounge area, your common room, your games, an oasis to go swimming and whatnot, all sort of like personal rooms. So that's why I was like, maybe there's gonna be like a war room. Maybe we can like go to the war room somehow and figure out that's where we go to get like the missions to detail like, hey, this is the weekly bounty or something like that. You need to kill 500 whatever the monsters are going to be called in this region, right? And then that's where you would
Mhm.
go. You can get in the war room, you can get those types of missions. Then there might be something like artillery or like an armory, but more for like not just the weapons, right? It would be like the also like any mobile vehicles or like forget what they call them, like the pontoon boats or whatever with the guns on them, things like that, right? So that we can like, those would be what we could maneuver around in the wilds with, whether you're at the Sapphire Sanctum or the Aurora Wilds, or I don't know, maybe they got some lava boats, who knows. But something along those lines, right? Like things that are more geared towards the exploration, the battles, the fighting that we're doing in season 3. I hope that's sort of what these new rooms come out to be. I just hope they're not
Yeah,
Division 1 costs.
yeah, that's a great point. Because yeah, everything else is like for like a resort kind of thing, right? For personal care, self care. But now that we're moving on to the actual battles, it would be good to have some items like that. I like lava boat. I really like that. I want a lava boat now.
It's kind of like those what do they got, the big fan boats or whatever, the swamp boats. The guys are hunting gators, but
Yeah,
instead it
yeah.
it traverses lava. Hover boats, basically,
Yes.
right? That's what they call them, I think.
Yeah.
Hover boats.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope that they aren't gonna take too much longer. Like I was honestly surprised that they haven't brought it out, and that's why I think it is very spoiler ish for what's happening. So that's why they held off on bringing them out, these new rooms, because they just didn't want to give away too much of what's going to be going on. So yeah, who
Mhm.
knows? We'll see. But I definitely think it's going to be geared more towards, because like I'm trying to like think. It's like, well, what else could you really have? Like they're not going to have a kitchen. Like we just we go to our diners. We go to our Flavor Town diners.
Right. Yeah. Let's
But
see. What would John Wick have in his mansion?
yeah, exactly. And we've already got like a mobile or like the bar thing, so it's not like you're gonna have a whole room dedicated to bars or any. Like, we've already got a
Mhm.
game room. We've already got the Oasis. I'm like trying to think. Like there's a reverse sauna. There's the cryo thing in the fitness room. Maybe we need a
Oh
sauna.
yeah.
But I can't. I
No.
There's nothing else I could really think of. Like you got your garage, you got your fitness center, you
Oh,
got your common area to hang out, you got your pool slash spa area, and you got your game room. Like what else other than a kitchen is there?
uh, the operations room, like where you have all the screens and all the monitors, and kind of like if you had the Bat Cave, and you need all the monitors to open the gates and all the secret compartments,
Yep.
so that your butler can be working from there.
Yeah. Well, it's the Cubs. The Cubs are our butlers.
Oh yeah, they're the admins, huh?
Yeah. That's why they came back, right? To run our city for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what else there is, right? When it comes to the different rooms, um, I think that's really what it's going to be is you know a war room, an armory, artillery sort of room, and who knows what else. Maybe when it does come out, that's going to be when we can actually go and visit each other's mansions, right? They're going to bring in a lot more of that sort of personalization. Because right now, like you go and look at my mansion, I'm sure it's the same for you. Like, is there anything there? Uh, Other than now that they have that, what is it, the Home of the King achievement quest. Whenever I get
Uh-huh.
that daily, I'll go in and just drop random furniture into the. It's not organized at all. It's just like literally, hey, there's a spot there. Just drop this. I need 5 pieces of furniture, so place it and move on, right? But other than that, it's
Yeah.
not organized. It's not decorated.
Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, for me, I'm putting a bunch of purple palms.
Yeah,
I'm working on the purple palms, so
yeah.
I'm
Grind
doing
those purple
definitely doing
palms.
the placing the furniture.
Yeah. So like afterwards, right? And then once they bring it out to be a lot more tedious, right? Because they will have diminishing returns on furniture, which will probably be coming sooner rather than later. I would think probably before mobile launches. Then we will also see that the whole concept you're doing right now, placing purple palms, right, repetitive until basically it doesn't make sense, is going to go the way of the dodo, right? It's not going to be a feasible strategy anymore because it's basically after like 5, 6 of them, it's just not really going to be making any XP moves for you. So that's where we're
So
going to
you
see
pretty much
people
have to move
decorating.
on,
Yeah, it's
move
going to
on
be.
to the next furniture, pretty much.
That's what I think, and that's where it's going to incentivize people to, hey, you only really need 3 couches in the common room, and 4 bookcases, a couple chairs, and stuff like that, right? A piano,
Oh, okay.
maybe fill up, put 4 pianos, and then you don't see any extra gains from that, right? So, I think that's where they're trying to go is to make us decorate rather than like right now, nobody decorates. We just spam the same thing over and over and over and over again until we can't place anymore, and then we clear all and rinse and repeat with the next one.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like at least right now we kind of see the numbers there, right? Like not before it was like, am I even putting anything on it? Like, is it even moving the needle at all?
That's a nice
Now at least,
addition. I do like being able to
yeah,
see the number at least. Because you even
at
get to
least
see
move
that
up.
in the inventory too, right?
Yeah, yeah. When you look at the inventory, it says this purple palm is gonna give me 109.64 B, and I need a 19.79 T to get to level 120.
Yeah, so you could calculate it if you wanted to figure out how many purple palms it's going to take to get there, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've always say that this is a numbers game. I'm just not a numbers person. But yeah, like it could be done like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So
so it's better, easier to die.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I guess the last point, maybe just to say around the new rooms, I really hope that they're, like I said earlier, not Division One. I hope that they're there to fill, like there's the major gaps which you just overcame, right? Where now you're able to start placing furniture again, and it's usually between like, or around Prestige 70, right? And then once you hit
Mhm.
Prestige 70, you have enough gold to get yourself up to Avatar level. I believe it's usually 80 is where you stop, and then you can get up to Avatar level 100 ish, right? And
Mhm.
then after that, you're basically stuck where you were, right? And now you're finally at the P70 income level to be able to place furniture again. And you're going to be able to go from like, what were you, probably Avatar level 105 or something like that. And you're going to be able to
Yeah,
like,
something like that.
yeah, and you can maybe get up to like 135 at the, or 134, somewhere around there, right? And that's sort of where I'm at right
Okay.
now. And
So
then
did you
oh, and
after the
then
camp?
there's just one
Go
more,
ahead.
in which I think the last one, and I'm not there yet, but I think it's Prestige. Well, it's changed slightly, but it's going to be like P260 ish to be able to get to CJ. I think it is furniture, and then that's the last for
Yeah.
the multi-room stuff.
Okay. Yeah. CJ, the
Yeah,
thinking lion.
yes, and the other sign and stuff like that. So those are the major gaps, right? So like you're basically going from prestige 70 to prestige, what was it, one, oh maybe it was 100,
Like
yeah, like,
105, I think.
yeah, and then from there to like 170, and then 170 to like two, I think it was like 230, and then like 230 to like 260. There's like these big gaps where it's like I'm not
Oh, in the
getting,
prestige.
yeah, where I'm not getting any blueprints, right? And I'm not doing anything in the mansion because I can't afford any of the furniture. So hopefully these other 5 rooms sort of fill those gaps, and they have pieces of
Mhm.
furniture where it's like, hey, you're, generating a I don't know, a P or something like that, I think. AP
Mhm.
level, and you can start placing some of this stuff, and then AQ and AS, right? And
Oh,
then
I see.
yeah, so that sort of furniture range, and then they would move on and be able to unlock the next room, and it would be something like, hey, instead of, I think it's BE furniture, right, is that sort
Hmm.
of gap, and then but after BE then it goes to CJ, right? So some we need something in between there, so it would be like, I don't know, BM and BQ, right? Some furniture in that range would be one of these other rooms.
Yeah, that sounds like a more balanced game.
Especially if they are trying to incentivize us to decorate, and we're not.
Yeah, and it'll also help out to with the blueprints that we missed out on. If they do what you like how you said it, to introduce new furniture that is not so expensive, that we'll be able to place. That's another good way of incentivizing. You know, but
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
As
Some
long as,
airdrops would be nice too.
yes, please. Even just send me like 30 gold blueprints, right? That's half of the like what we've missed out on. But
Yeah,
whatever, we'll see what happens. I'm not
yeah.
holding my breath. Let's just say that.
Me neither, but I support 30 gold blueprints. That sounds like a good payout.
Yeah, I mean, at least, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they really want
And
to,
they could do it right.
give us our full missed, I would be down for, because it's 630 uncommon blueprints at level 100, Avatar level 100, that we've missed out on. And then that's also
Yeah.
65 gold blueprints that we missed out on at level 100. So it's a lot when you think about it. That's a lot of chances at an Apex and an
Yeah,
arcade,
right?
both of which I've never opened. in normal ones.
Yeah, I mean, neither. I know I'm even like sometimes I just open blueprints just to open them, but I still record just in case I open something good.
Yeah, yeah. Then you can like get all giddy and it's like, yeah, woo, look at that.
Yeah,
The only
because
and
otherwise, uh
I was gonna say the only thing that I dislike about the new most recent change for the opening blueprints is you don't get to see the quality.
yeah, that
Right?
sucks. But they did say that they received the feedback, so hopefully they'll
Do
do something
something.
about that.
Yeah, because I found that to be one of the more exciting. I wouldn't open multiple blueprints anyways. I haven't opened yet, but I've seen your openings, and a couple other people have sent me screenshots being like, "Look, if you open multiple, it shows you all the different ones, and it got the 1x or 3x or whatever beside it." Um,
Uh-huh.
but I found that quality was one of the more exciting components, right? I mean, obviously the building reveals the most exciting, but then being able to be like, hey, it's a quality four. I mean, it was a diner, but at least it's a quality four, right? So that
Yeah.
not seeing that until you go to your inventory, and I've got 300 businesses in my inventory. I have no idea which one it is I just opened, right?
Right? I was just gonna say that too. Even going to the inventory to know exactly what it is that you opened. Yeah, that was like a double shot of dopamine right there. The first the business. Oh, if it's like a cook. Oh, it's a cook hat, but it's a quality four.
Yeah. Woo!
Right?
It's a less than 1% chance to pull that.
Yeah. Or having like a good bank that's quality three, right? Oh, I have a bank and it's quality three,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly, right? That's an extra level of excitement and dopamine, like you said, that they've now stolen from us.
Yes. We want our dopamine back.
Yeah, along with a bunch of blueprints.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll call it the Great Blueprint Change. They're going to give us our quality back on the opening and then distribute to everybody over level 100 600 blueprints, uncommon, and 65 legendary blueprints. That's the
Hmm.
plan.
Sounds like a good solution.
I support it. All right. Well, other than that, I mean, we've rambled on for a bit. So if anybody's made it this far in, yeah, we appreciate your time. I think I've got pretty much everything I've held in for the last 3 weeks that we hadn't really been able to discuss. Um, you got anything else you want to bring up, DJ Oracle?
No, again, thank you to everybody who's still listening. Thank you for everybody who always supporting us and letting us know that what we do does matter to the community and that it does help out. We love doing this. So the fact that you guys support it, it's even more rewarding. So thank you guys for all the support. And I think for myself, yeah, I think I've said everything that we had. Except for 3 weeks, it was worth the wait. We had a lot of topics for the podcast.
Yeah, and I mean, we never even really got into business combos too much, but maybe next time we get sit down, we can get a little bit more in depth into because a lot of this stuff's still fresh for us, right? Like 3 weeks with this amount of change that just happened is really it's a good amount of time, but we're still digesting stuff and developing our strategy and refining our cities. So, we appreciate everybody for tuning in, listening, and obviously, we'd love to hear you guys' feedback. If you got any suggestions or anything like that, drop them in the comments below or reach out to us on Discord or X, either one. I know I'm a little more active on Discord, so I don't know about yourself, DJ, but yeah, feel free to try and reach out to us. Give us suggestions if you have any. Let us know what you guys think about, well, all of the season 3 changes so far. Big one, if you do uh, want to let us know what your favorite region is or favorite land within the regions or whatever, we love to hear that. So drop that down in the comments down below too. And yeah, I mean, thank you so much for listening, making it this far if you have. And, we will hopefully catch you guys within the next couple weeks and have a lot more refined understanding how this development and these changes with the regions and everything are playing out. They've got the change coming out with changing how the income works, whenever that's coming. Who knows? But yeah, we'll have lots more stuff to talk about. So thank you very much, DJ Oracle, for joining me. Um, we'll, yeah, I guess end her here. So appreciate everybody for watching. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, again, yeah, for me also the same. I'm usually more active on Discord. If you have any questions, just go ahead and DM me there. Thank you guys for listening, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.